Hi guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Going to read through pretty much the full story here, the full article. There is a link in the description. It's pretty grim. It's a brutal, horrific murder of a woman, and also the woman's 4-year-old daughter has been severely injured with severe blunt force trauma to her head. I've looked for a quick update. I haven't seen any further updates. So I would imagine, and I'm guessing, I'm speculating, that would mean that the 4-year-old girl is still in a critical condition, I would guess. But, let's be thankful she hasn't died as far as I'm aware at this stage. And we hope, of course, that that remains the case and that she makes a full recovery. Let's have a look at this full article, and it's about this scumbag here, the alleged scumbag. A 24-year-old man from Kansas City is facing a slew of criminal charges for allegedly beating a 24-year-old woman to death in her home, as well as leaving the woman's 4-year-old daughter in critical condition with severe head trauma. Jose Escalante-Corchado was arrested this week and charged with first-degree murder in the death of Mackenzie Hopkins. He's also charged with the first-degree assault and first-degree endangering the welfare of a child for allegedly beating the murdered victim's young daughter, prosecutors in a neighboring Missouri county have announced. Investigators believe that the scumbag in question, Escalante-Corchado, to be the boyfriend of one of the victim's female friends. According to a press release, officers with the Kansas City Police Department on January the 15th responded to a call requesting a welfare check at a residence in Wabash at approximately 5:49 p.m. Upon arriving at the address, first responders met Hopkins' father, who requested the check, waiting for them outside of the home. So the murdered victim's father requested the welfare check, and he was present at the premises. Officers entered the home. Officers entered the home and found an unresponsive Hopkins, the murdered woman, in a bathtub submerged in water. Her 4-year-old daughter, whose name the authorities have withheld because she is still a juvenile, was found in her bedroom lying on the bed, suffering from what appeared to be severe blunt force trauma to her head. I presume that means it was quite apparent that she had been struck over the head with something rather severe. A baseball bat or a pole of some sort would be my speculation. Upon removing the victim, Hopkins, from the bathtub, officers said they observed that she appeared to have sustained blunt force trauma injuries to her face and head. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Emergency medical services personnel transported the little girl to a local hospital for treatment, and she remains in critical condition as far as we're aware at this stage. Investigators said the grisly scene inside the home was indicative of extreme violence. Here's a quote from some of the detectives present at the scene. There were several spots on the floor inside the main floor of the residence where large amounts of blood had pooled, and there were apparent drag marks in blood where it appeared the victim had been moved. In different locations, there were shoe impressions in blood. Detectives also learned that a 911 call had been placed from the victim's cell phone at approximately 6 a.m. that morning to report a disturbance. The line was left open, and the call taker heard parties fighting. The shoe prints were later matched to be a specific brand and style of cowboy boots made by a company, Ariat. So we presume that that is part of the evidence which will be held against the alleged murderer. Scumbag here, Jose Escalante-Corchado. The day after finding Hopkins' body, investigators met with one of the victim's female friends at the woman's home. While there, detectives said they observed a pair of cowboy boots near the front door, which matched the brand and style of the prints left in blood at Hopkins' apartment. When asked, the friend allegedly said the boots belonged to her boyfriend, Escalante-Corchado. The friend's name is redacted from the affidavit. The document also says that surveillance footage obtained by detectives reportedly showed a male who appeared to be Escalante-Corchado going into Hopkins's home at approximately 5:46 a.m. Just after 6 a.m., a phone call to 911 was placed. The same male can allegedly be seen running south of the victim's block away from her home. He allegedly returned to Hopkins' home at 6:48 a.m., went behind the residence, and then exited at 2 hours later, 8:48 a.m. So, seemingly, allegedly, potentially, the accused, the alleged murderer, scumbag, Escalante-Corchado, he's gone into his girlfriend's friend's house very early in the morning, very early for me at least, 5:46 a.m., and a fight ensued fairly quickly. A 911 call was placed, within 10-15 minutes, and then the alleged murderer was caught on security camera, if I'm understanding correctly. Surveillance footage, was caught on surveillance footage, leaving the property within the hour, 6:48, and then he came back, allegedly, potentially. He came back. Why would he come back? He left fairly shortly, and then he came back and stayed for 2 hours. Why would he do that? Well, presumably, I don't know. I mean, I'll speculate here. Either to finish the job, as it were, or to tidy up. It looks like he didn't do a very good job of tidying up. So, to finish the job, I guess. Escalante allegedly admitted that he was the person captured in the myriad surveillance footage, but he is said to have denied any involvement in Hopkins' murder or the assault of the daughter. Police said he had no explanation as to why he was in the area of her home during a 2-hour stretch for which he cannot seem to account. He is currently being held at the Wyandotte County Jail without bond. A GoFundMe has been set up for the daughter. So the GoFundMe is here. So in memory of Mackenzie Hopkins, the mother, and the daughter. So I don't think we're being told the daughter's name. They've still got a little way to go to reach their goal of $40,000, which will help with the costs of the funeral, I should imagine, but hopefully the majority of those funds will help secure the daughter's medical safety, medical procedures, requirements, as well as for her future. So I don't know, perhaps donate if you're in a position to. Of course, if you're not, you're not. But they've so far raised a little under $27,000. And that's really the full article. So again, there is a link in the description. He's an alleged murderer at this point. There has not been a trial at this point. However, he's admitted to being the person caught on the surveillance footage. So, thankfully there was surveillance footage. I know surveillance footage, CCTV cameras, are at least arguably, if not unarguably, an infraction on people's privacy and security. But personally, I welcome such surveillance. I'm not out and about committing crime, nor are my friends and family. So I have no issue with surveillance cameras covering huge swathes of areas, be that residential or commercial areas, in order to protect us. And even though such cameras can't, well, definitely cannot intervene in an incident, they can certainly aid investigators and the prosecutors in catching a criminal and ensuring that they're found guilty, which I would guess, and this is sheer speculation, is exactly what's going to happen in this case. He was there. He's admitted to having been on camera, and he's got no reasonable way to account for that. So I would think that the prosecutors essentially are going to be able to move forward, and I would imagine, again, complete speculation, I would imagine that they're going to be able to get a result in terms of a conviction. So that's a good thing, but of course the tragic thing is that the mother, Mackenzie Hopkins, has been brutally murdered, and also the child, the 4-year-old daughter, is, as far as we're aware, still in critical condition. Again, we hope that she recovers fully. Condolences to the family of Mackenzie Hopkins and her daughter. The father, was the person responsible for calling for the welfare check. He was there. He was seemingly concerned. He seemingly had reasons to be concerned. So condolences to the family.